Before I even say anything, just look at this. This is my personal AI assistant. And guess what? I didn't pay a single cent for it. Yeah, and it runs on my laptop. No API keys, no cloud, no bills. Just pure offline brain power. Let me show you exactly how I built this from scratch with Python in PyCharm. First thing, let's open our browser and go to nomic.ai/GPT4All. This is where you get the base package, basically the brain of our assistant. Now the page has opened. If you are on Mac OS, click on this link. And if you are using Windows you can click on this link. But I will click on this link, download for Windows, since I'm using Intel. We click on save. Now let's open the installer. Now click next. And next again. Remind you, you need at least 4 gig of free space, since this uses about 2 gig. Now we will click on next again. Accept the license. Click next again, and next, and click on install. So wait for it to finish installing. And boom, GPT4All is now installed on our system. So let's click finish. Now we need the brain itself. So let's open the app we just installed. Then click on models. Now let's scroll down. But wait, have you seen these ones with red warnings? They need way too much RAM. And for most of us, we are going to grab Llama 3.2 Instruct because it only uses 4 gig of RAM and perfect for mid-range laptops like mine. So this is Llama 3.2 3B Instruct, and as I said earlier, it required only 4 gig of RAM. And we also have Llama 3.2 1B Instruct, and that one too also requires 2 gig of RAM. But let's download Llama 3.2 3B Instruct. So we will click download and wait for it to finish downloading. Now it has finished downloading. So let's copy the model file and move it into our PycharmProject so our program can find it locally. So we go to drive C. Then open users folder. Then open your username folder. This is my username folder. Maybe yours will be different. Then open your username folder. Next, open app data. And if you don't see, don't panic. It's hidden by default. Just go up to the view menu, navigate to show, then check hidden items. And boom, there is your app data folder. Then open app data. Then go into local. Then navigate for Nomic AI folder. Open this folder too. Now this is our GPT4All model file, the brain we just downloaded. Now let's move it into our PycharmProject. So we will copy it. Then click on drive C again. Then open users folder again. Next, open your username. Now let's navigate to our PycharmProject. Then we will open PythonProject. This is our project folder. So let's create a new folder here and name it models. Now let's open this folder and paste the GPT4 model file here. Now our program can easily access the model locally. No internet needed, and we are ready to start building our AI assistant GUI. Alright, we are back in PyCharm. We are now going to connect Python to our AI brain. So let's open our terminal and type pip install GPT4All. But for me, I will just copy it from my notes. This installs the connector or the bridge between our code and the offline model. Now let's load the model file into our program. But before that, let's create a Python file that we will use to write our Python source code. Let's name it AI Assistant. Before we can load the model file, we will need to import the GPT4All library into our program to enable interaction with the local AI model. This import right here gives our script access to the GPT4All class, which allows us to load and communicate with the AI model directly from Python or from our program here. Now let's go back to our PycharmProject and copy the path where the model file is located. So we'll copy this path and paste it here. The R you see here stands for raw string, which means Python will treat any backslash as regular characters instead of escape sequence. Now we will go here and copy this and place it here. And this code allows our program to locate and load the exact model file we want to use. And in this code, this allow download is equal to false. Prevent the model from automatically downloading from the internet. By setting this, we ensure that the program only uses the local model file we have placed in the models folder. So now we have successfully loaded our AI assistant model into our program. Now it's time to give our AI brain a graphical interface, a fully interactive GUI, and we will use tkinter. It's one of Python's built-in library for creating cross-platform graphical user interfaces. And since tkinter is pre-installed with Python, there is no need for any additional installations. And to set up our GUI and ensure smooth performance, we also use the threading model, which allows us to run tasks concurrently without freezing the interface. So here is how we will import them. Setup or imports provides the foundation for building a responsive and interactive AI assistant application. Now let's give our assistant a dark hacker vibe with some sleek accent colors to make it stand out. Now we have finished setting updating colors, and you can feel free to tweak colors to match your style. So now it's time to create our main assistant window. Now this code creates our main app window. This line here, root is equal to tk.Tk parenthesis, creates the main window for our tkinter application. Or we can say the frame where everything else will go. And this line here says the title of the window. And this text right here will appear in the title bar at the top of our app. This says the size of our window. And this says the background color of our window. And this BG color is the variable we defined earlier for the background colors. This BG variable is what was used here. And this code here allows the window to be resized. Now let's learn the main application loop to make our window active and visible on the screen. This line starts the tkinter's event loop, which keeps the interface running, listens for users' action, and updates the UI in real time. So now let's go ahead and run and see the output. It has launched successfully, but as you can see, there is currently nothing inside here except the title bar. This means our tkinter window is working, but we haven't added any UI element yet. So we will start building the interface components to bring our AI assistant to life. So let's give our assistant a header bar here that will display our project name. Now we want to make our display more engaging and visually appealing. So we want to add emojis to our code. And to get an emoji, go to our browser, add another tab, and type getemoji.com. Now let's scroll down and look for the emoji we want to use in our code. So we want this laptop emoji. We just click on it, and now it has automatically copied to our clipboard. So we can paste it in our code. So let's paste it here. Let's add another one. Now everything is ready. So let's run the program and see the results. Nice. Our header bar has successfully appeared. And as you can see, now displays the Bilabial AI Assistant here with the sign color we gave it, making it stand out. Now this will be the main title section of our app. Now let's create a chat box where our interactions with the assistant will appear. And when we finish creating, it will appear right here. Now we are done with the chat box, and this line right here creates a scrollable text area inside the main window root, and it will be our chat display where messages from us and our AI will appear. And this line ensures that long lines wrap at boundaries so that words don't get cut off when they reach the edge. And this could set the background color of our chat box. And this could too set the text color inside the chat box. This one is the font, and we used consolas, the font size of 11. So basically our text size is 11. And this code is padding for x-axis, and this one is padding for y-axis. And this one removes the default border around the chat box for a cleaner look. And finally, this code set the chat box to read only, so that we cannot type directly into it. So now that everything is ready, let's run and see the results. Oh, I got an error with the text color. Okay, let's see what's happening. Now the text color is a variable, so we will remove the double quotes. Now let's run again and see what happens. Now it has launched successfully. This area will show our conversation history. It is scrollable and also read only, meaning we can read message here but we can't type here. Now let's add an input field right here. This is where we will type our messages before sending them to our assistant. And we are done with the input field. So let's run and see the result. Here it is. This is where we will type our prompt or message and send it to the AI. It's very simple and stylish. Now before we create buttons we will use to interact with our AI, we are going to create button frames that will hold our buttons and also a hover logic so that our mouse will change colors when we move mouse over it. So we will first create the hover logic. After that we will create the frames. Now that we have finished setting up our hover effect, let's go ahead and create our frames that will hold our actual buttons. These buttons will be the ones we will click to interact with our assistant. And when we create them, they will already have the hover effect. And we are done with the hover effect and the button frame. But since the actual buttons haven't been created yet, when we run, nothing will be displayed at this stage. But let's run and see so that we can see what I mean. So have you noticed that nothing appears? Only the previous result is still showing. So now we are going to create message display function to handle and present message systematically. Now we are done with the function that will handle messages systematically. So let's run and see. And the function we just created is responsible for showing messages in this chat interface. But since there is no button yet, we can't test how it works because we need button to send the test here. But we'll be creating button soon and then we will test everything together. And now comes the exciting part. We are going to write the code that will be responsible for handling our messages. So we will start by coding how our assistant will generate and display its responses. Now we are done with our prompt. And what this prompt does is that it instructs the AI assistant to stop after giving you a complete response. It should also add emojis or jokes when appropriate. And if someone asks who it is, it should identify itself as the Bilabial AI Assistant. And we will construct the prompt in a clear way so that the AI knows exactly where to begin and finish its response. Now we have constructed the prompt in a clear way for our assistant. And what this full prompt does is that it combines three key parts of our code. When you look at this block right here, this line right here is the system instruction. This F here means formatting. It means you want to format a string of code and insert something like a variable, a string. So here, this right here is a variable, system prompt, a variable we created here. This variable, how we want our AI assistant to behave. We have placed our variable inside the who prompt. And this code right here, this variable user message we are placing right here, haven't created it yet. But this variable will later store our message or our question to the AI assistant. And this line right here tells the AI assistant where its reply starts. Now we are going to ensure our AI assistant produces a single focus response and ignoring any previous messages. Now we are done with the code that is responsible for handling our messages and generating the AI replies. And what this function does is that it asks our AI to create an answer. This full prompt is this block right here. This block right here. This one is the instructions we have given to our AI. And this one is the message or question we will ask our AI for it to answer us. This maximum tokens right here limits the length of our AI's response. So right now our maximum token is 400, meaning the maximum length in words that our AI is allowed to produce in one reply is 400. And this temp is equal to 7 controls the creativity or the randomness of the answer. And a higher temp means more creative or funny. And lower temp means more strict or predictable answers. And since we want our AI to be more creative, we have set it to 7. Now let's make a send message function which will take our input, show it in the chat, and clears the typing box ready for next message. And this is where the user variable message we mentioned here will be used. Now here is where the variable we talk about in the full prompt comes in. Inside this send message function, this user message variable is used here to capture whatever it types into the input field and also displays it in the chat, and finally clears the input field for the next message or next question. Now let's create a background thread for our AI response. This thread allows our assistant to think without freezing the chat. And I have included the code in the description below in case you need it. This threading model here makes our AI think in the background so that our chat window stays smooth without freezing while it's generating a reply. Now we are going to make a clear chat frame. It will hold the button that will reset the conversation and shows the AI it is ready. Now let's add some emojis to our code. We want to make our GUI visually appealing. So we'll go back to our browser. Let's use this one. Let's paste it here. Now let's add emojis to some parts of our code. So we will go back to our browser. Let's change this part. I just got a different idea. And the plan is to add a fire, a star, and this one. I'm not sure of the name yet, but I just want to add it. Now let me add one to the title. The window title. Let's copy this one. Now we are going to create the actual buttons that we will interact with to communicate with our AI assistant. These buttons will allow us to send message, execute commands, and trigger some functions. Now we are done with the buttons, and each button will include hover effect and styling to enhance usability. Now that we have created our buttons, let's run the program and check the results. Oh, I think I made a mistake somewhere. Okay, let me remind you about Python indentation. If you don't indent your code properly, it won't run or you will get a compile error. So make sure you take care of that. Now let's fix the indentation and run it again to see what happens. Now it has run successfully, but it seems the emoji on the clear chat doesn't look nice. So let's change it and run the program again. We'll go to our browser again. Now let's search for broom. And let's click on it and copy. Now let's run it again. Alright, here it is. Our buttons are now displayed with colorful text and emojis. And it also includes the hover effect we implemented earlier. So now let's send a hi to our assistant and see how the buttons and the chat box works. Oh why? It seems there is a bug somewhere. Let's check and fix it. Oh, I didn't set the enter key to send a message. Let's fix it. Now let's run again. Now let's test again if it will work. Now there is a problem. Let's check and fix it. First, let's look at the send message function because we are sending a message and it is not actually going through. I see the issue with our logic. Right now, it's set up so that if we type something, it does nothing and stops. So we need to invert that. Let's bring in not here. So now our logic is saying, if the user didn't type anything, skip sending. So this way, if we type something and press send, it will send. But if you don't type anything, it won't send. Now let's run it again and see. Okay, it has launched. So let's test it again. So it seems there is a bug in the display function. Let's check that as well. It looks like our lesson has now turned into bug fixing. I left something here. Let's correct it. Now let's run the program again. Now everything is working fine, but the tests are combined, so it's hard to tell the AI's message from ours. So let's give different colors to each one to make it look nice. But before that, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe and leave a comment down below. Now let's go down and start our chat test. So we are going to give different colors to our message and our AI's responses. And also we will add colors to errors so that the conversation will be easy to read. Now we are done with the chatbot test colors, and it will make our chat with our assistant look nice. Now finally, let's create a display node that will welcome our users. Now our AI assistant is up and running, and it is fully offline. So let's run the program and start vibing with it. So that's my own Jarvis or AI assistant, and I didn't spend a single cent. In our next episode, we are adding voice, emotions, and personality. Then we will bundle it so we can copy to our pen drive and share it with our friends. But remember, it is still free and still offline. And if you find this video helpful, kindly smash that like button, subscribe, and comment. Free AI gang.